Okay, so we have our star block, and we have to put one of these units to each side of the star block. So this is the same thing that we did when you're putting the stars together. You know, you have your square here. Well, we have this big square, so we now just have to put these units together. We did this a little separate. I mean, we did these, and then we came across the top in the bottom. So on this, for the stars, you're gonna put one of them, if you're doing the long version, which is, this is gonna be in the middle. That's all you're gonna do, because then we're gonna be adding other blocks here. But for the top and the bottom, we have to put the sides on, and we either put it on the bottom or on the top. I'll show you that in just a minute. So when we're getting ready to put this unit together, we have to, I'm going to flip this around. You're going to have to make sure the orientation of the background. You're going to flip this around. Remember, we have a point here that we're trying to match on two places. So what we need to do is put this here, but go back from this direction and look at these intersections that we need to catch. So when we're doing this, make sure again that the seams line up and you have that little look here, that little triangle. That's where your point is over here. You're going to simply sew down your 1/4 of an inch and catch that. Now, again, I started to say and got distracted. You're going to match these points first. Whether it's pin or glue, it doesn't matter. You're going to match these points first. You also have then these intersections or these seams. Now, seam allowances, it potentially can be flipped. So either pin or glue that down. And also your corners. And then at least one place, someplace in between this area here. So you'll do that to both sides and then press according to the instructions. Then we're ready to put the star blocks. This star block, when it has both sides, will have a block 1. If you're doing the single or the small one, you have a block 1. Actually, it'll be down here, and then another star block. And if you're doing the large, you have to do just the sides to 1, do the sides to the top and bottom, and then we're going to also put the half square triangles to the other sides. And we'll show that in a little bit too. Hi, we're getting so close. All right, as you can see behind, we have block 1 with the 2 sides on it. All right, boy, that was bad. So block 1, we've put the 2 sides, and on block 2, which is the star block, we've put the 2 sides on it. Okay, and then we need to put the top on it as well, and this one up here has it on it already. And then we need to do the same with the bottom. Now, if you are making the long one, you're going to have a second or a third star that's going to be just like this. All right, you're not going to put the top or bottom because it's just going to line up with block 1. But if you're doing whichever one, the top has this unit. Remember, it was this unit with the 4 patches, and then we're adding our half square triangles. Please verify the orientation of the half square triangles. All right, so it's going to simply be put on block 2. You're going to see this. You like that? You're going to be putting it here. Again, folding it down this way. You are going to want to sew from the side that you're going to have to match some points right here. Now you can see I've already done that here to the top. All right. So once we have that done, I'm going to just grab these off of here. Now don't forget, when you add some of the top and bottoms, remember we had to realign some of the, or repress some of those 4-patch units. You might have to do the same with this. Hey, I finally got smart and put the design wall flannel up. It's a gridded design wall. It's gray, which is kind of a neutral. That's what I use on my big design wall that you can see behind me. So it's on this portable one. I love it. I've had it for quite a long time because the fabric just sticks to it. Sometimes you have to pin, but not very frequently. If you've been to any of the sit and sews at Chestnut Ridge, we put some of this up as well, and the fabric just fits beautifully. And it's a good way to check to see if you like the layout. I often will lay that out and then just work from there so that I don't mess up the fabrics. So what we're gonna do, this is the top. It has the half square triangles on it. It's our block, our star, and then the bottom. And all we're gonna do now is match that to our second block, all right, or our number 1 block rather, sorry. And we're gonna sew those together. Now let me show you something on here. On here, again, we have no points to match on this side, but we have the half square triangle points to match here. So you're going to want to make sure that you're pinning or gluing and sewing from this side using that little reference there of the half square triangle part. When this is all sewn together, I like to press those seams open. I think it just totally reduces the bulk when I go to quilt it. So you get this sewn, and I'm not going to show you that because you already know how to do all of that. Pin, glue, whatever you need to do. Get that on there, and then so now you have basically 3 blocks. That's a rectangle. It's not really a square. Same thing with the other one here. You're going to put these together. You'll have all of them there and ready to go. And I mentioned the pressing. I do want to tell you one thing. I know a lot of you have purchased the wool mat, and a number of you purchased it recently. I'm going to show you something on the wool mat. A couple people have asked me some questions about it. Like, can they steam? You can. But if you're going to steam, you don't want the wool mat just sitting on a table that has a laminate top or something, because it will go through. The moisture will go through. Although it's pretty steep here, or pretty thick. So you need to have a barrier of some sort. Insulbrite, you could put it on one of the, the white plastic tables. I still put something underneath it, just for protection. What I also do is, and I mentioned this before, I will sometimes, oops, I gotta lean forward and get this. When I'm pressing, I like to heat the pressing surface first, put the piece on that I'm working, on which I'm going to work, put this down, and then press again. Now you're getting the heat from both top and bottom, and it makes it really nice. So you might want to do that. I'm holding up the small wool mat. It makes it easier. The smell, I've never had a problem with mine. I think that some people bought some cheap wool mats, and that might be the problem. I do know what I do with all of mine. You can see I have this binder clip. This is really high tech. It's just a plain binder cap. I have it on here. When I'm working, I just leave it. You can put it down if you want. After I'm done, every day after I'm done, I simply hang this on the pegboard, so that if it is moist, their air can circulate through it and dry it. That makes it really nice. I do that with all of my wool mats. I have a couple different sizes. It just will prevent any moisture from getting caught in here and potentially having a smell develop. So like I said, I don't have a problem. If you're going to use steam, that's when you might have some problems, or spray it with Best Press, or whatever starch that you would use. I think that perhaps that might be a problem in terms of smell if you use a scented best press, and you don't air it out. That's the only way that I really think that there might be a problem. I'm gonna, after we get all this together, I'm gonna come back to you, and it'll probably be another video because I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the quilting. We have this pretty big center here that's a 6-inch square. So what are you going to do to quilt that? You can't just leave that plain. I've got some ideas on quilting that. I put applique in it. I've used an embroidery motif in here, and we'll talk about that. We'll look at all the quilting ideas, putting the whole runner together. I'll do a quick rundown on how to layer the quilt or the table runner, quilting it, and I'm not going to talk about binding too much other than some potential ideas of fabrics to use. And again, I will also show you the other version that I've been working on. That's the larger version, and some other options for you. So I think, let me check my list. I think I have everything. That's good. So I will be back with you in a little bit with some completed projects and go over that with you.